Guys, we're going to move on to another 11 o'clock game. But before we do that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. It's free. It'll take you 2 seconds. We're trying to grow every day. We come out with 6 to 9 videos every single week for college football. So if you enjoy that, leave us a like, subscribe, share to your friends. But with that out of the way, like I said, another 11 o'clock game. Number, does that say 18 USF? Yes, it does. Sorry, the font's very small. Number 18 USF 6-1, traveling to Memphis to play Memphis, who's also 6-1, who was ranked last year, or not last year, last week, until they got beat by UAB, which is after UAB fired their head coach. So there is that. But USF comes into this game as a 3.5 point favorite. If you look at the matchup predictor, this is the closest I've ever seen on the matchup predictor. Memphis has a 50.1% chance to win. So this is right down the middle, 50-50 basically, according to the computer analytics. But Chase, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Who do you think can pull off this game?
Yeah, this is actually going to be a really fun one. I know I feel like they overreacted just a tad, dropping Memphis out of the rankings. I think they were like 22nd last week or something like that. So I can understand why. But you got to throw the UAB game out. You just got rid of one of the more toxic head coaches in all of college football. Like, come on, like I think his parting words to his team were that y'all aren't bad football players. You just play bad football. Um, Come on, that was his parting words. I think that's what I heard. Anyway, Memphis is a great team. I absolutely love their head coach, Ryan Summerfield. I think he is one of the most underrated coaches, could be talked about in jumping up to Power 4, Power 5. He seems like he's very content at Memphis, though. A consistent winner, a consistent a bowl game appearance guy. They win those there. So I'm very excited about them. I actually got to go last year with North Alabama when they went and played Memphis, and just a very sound football team all the way through. He's got a couple highlight players here and there at some skill positions, but most of the way they're just sound. They're big guys and they know how to play some freaking football. And I absolutely love watching them. But then on the other side, Alex Golish, he's one of my, like you might go out one night with the guys or something. Actually, you guys might not. Y'all are married now. But remember back in the day when y'all went out with the guys or something, you're like, man, look at that pretty girl over there. And it's like, whoa, look at that smoking hot one. Smoking hot one's Alex Golish, guys. I'm telling you. Just a good looking football coach. And just a freaking no, he's just oh man, a high octane offense, and he just doesn't let any crap happen. He is holding his guys accountable. I think in the game just the other day, something happened in the fourth quarter. They were up like 35 to like 10, 35 to 3. I don't know, something like that. But something happened in the fourth quarter and absolutely is ripping them like he's prime Nick Saban and AJ McCarron's out there. So I think Alex Golish has just done a wonderful job in South Florida and won't be there much longer. So go ahead and appreciate this, Bulls fans, because he's not going to be there after this season. But these two teams have had a lot of a similar season. Like Memphis got their big win over Arkansas at home. Crazy, right? Played Arkansas. Got a big win there. SEC opponent. South Florida also, though, they beat Florida in the Swamp, one of the toughest places to play in the country, which is really cool. They recorded that on the Nintendo DS, by the way, the winning kick. But they've had a lot of just similar stuff going on. Both have a loss. I expect South Florida to roll, though. It's going to be really hard in Memphis, but I think South Florida is the team to beat this season. I think they're going to be the Group of 5 representative through and through. So,
Yeah, with Memphis, let's just call it what it is. You get rid of a really toxic head coach at UAB. Your players are fired up for a rivalry game because no one cares about you whatsoever. Memphis is looking ahead to this game. They're not thinking about UAB at all. They've beat UAB for over a decade straight, and they got caught with their pants down. That's what happened Saturday. I don't take too much away from Memphis's ability to win the South Florida game because of what happened in the UAB game.
yeah.
That being said, after Memphis beat Arkansas, Miami beat up on USF. I remember getting on here and saying, I don't care they got beat up by Miami. South Florida will be the G5 representative in the college football playoff. They beat down on Boise State, who's a really good football team. They beat Florida. That's why they had no chance at catching Miami, because Miami was not caught off guard by South Florida whatsoever. And all they've done since then is take like a really good North Texas team and absolutely do horrendous things to them that you don't need to let anyone under the age of 18 watch. And they've continued that pattern against everyone that is quote unquote on their level. Now they're not going to, I would be very shocked if they just absolutely destroy Memphis. But they will beat Memphis by at least 2 touchdowns. That's a promise. This South Florida team is really, 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 really good. They're not losing another game in American Conference play. They will go to the playoff. And depending on who they draw, they might win a wild card. Like, they're good.
A lot back in Boise State from last year.
Yeah, like, again, it depends on who they draw. Like, if they have to go on the road to Georgia, they're not winning that game. But, like, we'll see when that time gets here. But South Florida's winning.
I want to point out something that since South Florida's lost to Miami 49-12, they have averaged 58 points per game. Now, granted, you play South Carolina State, Charlotte, and then the North Texas game, which, hey, I was way wrong on that. Like that spread was very tight as well. I think North Texas was actually favored by 1.5. And you do horrendous things like you said, Quinn. Then you beat FAU. And then when you look at Memphis, yes, you beat Arkansas by 1 point at home, which, Quinn, we actually, I think it was me and you talked about that one, how that was going to be a very tough spot for Arkansas, and we saw what happened there. A couple of common opponents, most recently FAU. South Florida beat them 48-13 at home. And then Memphis beat them 52-26 on the road. So that's kind of the common opponent so far, that you can kind of look at here. I've watched more South Florida football this year than Memphis. I'll be straight up honest with you. So if we have any Memphis fans, we apologize. We don't know your ins and outs. But what I do know for Memphis, and we talked about it in the Arkansas game, they're scrappy, they're physical, and they're big. That's Memphis football. But USF is scrappy, physical, and big as well on both sides of the line of scrimmage, offense and defense. Memphis more so on the defensive side than the offensive side. But USF's got it all. Offense, defense, special teams. They're fun to watch. They're a really good football team. So I'm going to ride with you guys as well. I'm going to go South Florida to win. I think they cover the 3.5 and win by a touchdown. I don't think it's anything more or less than that. It's going to be a tight American football game here. And the winner, could make the playoffs. I think USF is almost a lock right now. However, I think if Memphis pulls off this upset, then they become the front runner for the college football playoff.
I'll be honest with you. I think really all this game matters for is who gets the home field advantage when they play each other for the conference championship game. And that'll be the game that actually determines who goes to the playoff.
Fair enough.